Midland is part of a consortium of 4 municipalities here in North Simcoe. We created an entity called Economic Development Corporation in North Simcoe. They have been working, providing information along with the Chamber of Commerce and North Simcoe Community Futures, who are also providing funding. EDC&S and the Chamber in particular, have been providing videos on how to access federal and provincial funding in support of business, whether it's through the loans program or employee wage subsidies, or more recently with the rental assistance programs that the federal government's put out. In addition to that, the EDC&S, the Chamber and the BIA have prepared a package which is basically masks, plexiglass visors, or partitions rather, that would be installed, decals showing appropriate social spacing where there are lineups, and just information circulars, as well as hand wash for sanitation purposes. As far as Midland goes, we're in fairly good shape. We have good reserves. So far, people are continuing with their ability to pay their municipal taxes. Revenue, there will be revenue shortfalls. We have CFO and his group looking at projections in terms of what our cash flow will look like throughout the year as a result of lack of revenue from marina, dock slip rentals, transit fares. There's no question it is putting pressure on the municipality, and so we are, as I said, doing this modeling. The Federation of Canadian Municipalities has sent a letter to the federal government requesting support along the lines of the way gas tax is apportioned by the federal government through the province, and in the case of Ontario, through the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, to help to support municipalities through this particular situation. I think the mayor of Muskoka Lakes put it best when he was interviewed the other day, and he said that the one thing that's very polarizing in the community is whether or not seasonal residents should be coming up from the great GTA Golden Horseshoe area or staying in at their primary residence. We've followed on from the Rural Doctors Association recommendations, which was basically that most people coming up to a secondary residence, so normally they would be accepted with open arms. They're part of the community. They pay taxes here. So the ask principally of them is that they respect the social distancing requirements, that they don't, congregate in groups of greater than 5, that they unrelated people, and just respect the hard work and the sacrifice of residents to keep the curve flattened locally. Businesses, as of yesterday, if they have a storefront onto the street, they're available. They're opening up cautiously and following the strictures that are coming down from the province. It's been since the beginning of March since this has been going on. We're in 2.5 months. Initially, people really didn't know quite what to make of it. Some of the advice coming down from the medical officer of health was basically it's dangerous, but we have it under control. And as it evolved, responses have evolved at all levels of government and within the population. I mean, at one point it was face masks were not necessarily accepted. Now, a lot of people are starting to wear face masks. There's in fact, there was a group here in the area. A group of ladies got together, COVID-19 Georgian Bay sewers. I think to date they've put 7,500 masks into the community, and it's being more and more accepted as a sign of respect to your fellow residents that when you're in a public space, you put a mask on. So it's evolved, and people's attitudes have evolved. Yes, they're more cautious. I think that's going to have an impact on how quickly business will see their merchants will see their business pick up as people become they're a little more leery of interaction. But I've noticed when I go grocery shopping, for example, that people are very conscious of social distancing and very respectful of standing in a queue for maybe a bit longer than you might otherwise have done in the past, prior to COVID. I think, what do they call it? The new normal. I think that it's important to realize, as the medical officer of health for Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit said just the other day, we're not out of the woods yet. The probability of infection is still fairly high. Don't let your guard down. Continue to follow social distancing and good hygiene practices. Respect your neighbors. The province is slowly opening up, and I think it's a very guarded approach. The Premier, just as recently as yesterday, has canceled school for the rest of the year out of an abundance of caution. I know it makes it more difficult for families, parents with young children. Hopefully, we'll see daycare open up. For the reopening of the economy and society generally, it's up to us to be sure that we continue to follow those strictures coming down from the medical officers of health in terms of, as I said, social distancing, good hygiene, wear a mask out of respect for your fellow residents. And if we continue to do that and we can hold the infection rate down, then I think there's every likelihood that we'll see the economy continue to expand, and we'll get back to something approaching normal. So be safe and be strong, and follow the directions from the medical officer of health. And we're going to climb out of this. Midland has always been resilient, and I expect that Midland will be resilient through this as well, as will the province.